Okay, that sounds good. We can get started whenever you're ready. I've got a doc pulled up, so I'm all good here. Can't believe a chicken flew in through a window. That had to be pure chaos.
Sounds like you, yeah. Not all of them? No, that can't be all. I got one today. Oh, yeah. I got five. Well, so we should have
Wendy confirms it was chaos.
cat. Yeah, the
Yeah.
agents of chaos. You know.
Also, good to see only 52 more minutes until freedom for Tavis. Very nice. Very
What's
nice.
freedom
No
for
more work
Evan?
calls.
Oh, for work? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at my calendar and not seeing any more work calls for the day is one of those there's nothing quite like it. It's a beautiful feeling. Beautiful. I remember one
Good
time
grief!
I
I
saw a
swear
joke.
I'm not ill.
I remember one time I saw a joke, where it was a Google Calendar screenshot, and it had, like, 4 hours blocked out where it said preparing for, like, a meeting, and then it had the meeting for 30 minutes, and then after
Okay.
that, it was another 4 hours of, like, recovering from the meeting. It was very funny. That's how I feel.
Good grief. I made a mistake in that people were replying to the note I made with links.
Mhm.
And now I can't find the note because Substack has no good ways to search for a note.
Yeah, it is very difficult to
Valley's like,
find older notes.
yeah. Valley's like, you moron, why would you do that?
No, no, it's all good, it's all good. I was just gonna say, I mean, I'm just, like, sharing anecdotes here in the meantime. I hope everybody watching doesn't mi we'll get
Okay.
started soon here.
I found it.
You found it?
So
Okay, cool. I was gonna
I'm
say
leaving it.
I have a lot of experience with live events at my job, so I know how it is trying to, like you try to account for everything and stuff still goes wrong. So it's all good.
Yeah,
Um,
because I had them in a notepad, with just a link in the notepad. But
yeah,
I was taking the ones from the DMs, and the ones I got last minute today, I didn't get around to transferring. That's what I was looking for.
for sure, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, if it's okay with you, Stefan, I'll go first here. I've got my first one pulled up, and then we'll just get started. That works for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. I would love it if you would start with your.
Can do. All right. So, hi everybody. We're gonna get started here. Basically, if you haven't done one of these with us before, we do these every month here on Substack Live. We take submissions ahead of the actual event here. So keep an eye out for that. If you're subscribed to both of us, you shouldn't miss it. I myself do a note and a subscriber chat thread.
And
But yeah, we basically,
if you're only subscribed to one of us, what are you doing?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm
So
just
yeah,
making
you
sure that
should
we got
definitely you should subscribe to Bradley then because
we got the ground rules laid here.
yeah, you shouldn't not
But
be subscribed to
basically,
Bradley. Good grief.
we're gonna trade off reading poems here, and then we're gonna kind of chat about each one and talk about them. It's really fun every time. And yeah. Also, before we read each poem, we will put a link in the chat for you to follow along if you'd like. And then, of course, tomorrow, at some point tomorrow, I will post the recording of this as well, which will have links to all the poems we read in that too. And I tag the authors as well. So, all that being said,
And,
this is our first poem here.
okay. And Tavis, you sent me a poem, correct? I didn't just like make this link up because I can't find it in your DM. You're good to go. I'll read one of Travis's things whether he sent it to me or not.
Okay,
Because
that works.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah. We
link to
can
one of his
also,
things. I assume he sent it to me. Okay, he confirmed.
yeah, he
Okay,
says he
good,
did.
good,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So, first poem I've got lined up here is from Kate M. Sign. This one is called Sylvan, and interestingly enough, this is part of an anthology called the Word Not World Series, or WNW. It's an interactive anthology where once a week Kate shares a photo and peers give
Uh,
Kate words that inspired them. So this
uh,
particular one, you can see the preview photo if you go to Kate's publication. The three words that inspired this piece were adorned, intact, and Irish. So,
b-
with all that being
be-
said,
before we start,
yeah.
should we mention a bit about the author?
sure, we
just
can. Yeah.
like before these poems, just to give them a little bit, like maybe just like what they write in general or something like that, just to give people a hint as to whether or not if they want to check them out.
Yeah, for
It might
sure.
help.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
might help the authors a little bit more. A little bit
Yeah,
more.
no. I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got Kate's profile pulled up here. We've obviously read some of Kate's poems before. They're typically paired with art, which is like it's one of my favorite things is when artists and poets like combine their skills together. Or in most cases, it's the same person. They're doing the art and the poetry. But anyway, gorgeous art, great poetry. Um, yeah, looking at Kate's about page here. Kate's a poet and writer based in Maryland. Her poetry's been published in HNDL Magazine, Gissophilia Zine, Maryland Bard Poetry Review, Connections Magazine, Co-op Zine, and To Art Magazine. That's a lot. That's awesome. And basically, the way that Kate's publication works is on Mondays we get essays, on Wednesdays that the series here that this poem's a part of gets published. Saturdays, paid subscribers receive a free poem, and then unpaid subscribers can read a month later, which is cool. And then last but not least, Kate also does monthly short stories. So yeah, really, really cool. I think that's probably a good overview before we get started here. But yeah, I like that idea, Stefan.
Yeah. Tavis, I have your poem. I just didn't want to read something somebody didn't give me permission to read.
Yeah, it's the dog who never asked me to audition. That's the link
Hmm.
I got. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's what
All
I
right,
have.
great. Good, good. All right, now without further delay, let's check out Sylvan from Kate M. Sign. The daisies you have tortured to tell your fate, retire them by braiding the intact stems into my hair, like an Irish claddagh, the roses you planted around your heart, the ones that bear their thorny teeth at anyone that makes your flesh blush. I will twist them into my hair and adorn them as antlers. I will protect your heart if you rest and let me love you. So, not a very long one, but really impactful. I read this one earlier actually when I was going through the links. Obviously, as I said at the beginning, this one's inspired by not only the art that's paired with it, but also the three words adorned, intact, and Irish. Um, and yeah, no, I mean this is great. I love Kate's work because it's always very visually interesting. Like there's good imagery always, but it's also very like emotional and introspective. Like I'm thinking about some of the prior poems that I've read from Kate, and that seems to be kind of a common theme. Um, Obviously, looking at three words that inspired this one, the Irish claddagh, that's definitely, obviously the reference to Irish there. And then the other ones are intact and adorn. And you see that those words kind of interwoven into the poem here. So, for example, line that says that I will twist them into my hair and adorn as antlers. I really like that. Number one, that's a cool like line from a poetic standpoint. But number two, having this like visualization of antlers coming out of your hair is really really cool. I like that a lot. um but yeah, I mean there's a nice balance of like kind of like some introspective emotion here, as well as like I said some pretty strong imagery. And I definitely recommend checking out the art that goes along with this too, because it's very much a visualization of what this poem is describing. So yeah, I mean it's firing on all cylinders, but that's usually the case with Kate's work. I like it a lot. Any thoughts from you, my friend?
I took notes. Oh, this is
Okay,
not
good.
you never want to hear me say I took notes, 'cause then we can get into the weeds. Ooh, Scooch Sketches Comic sounds awesome. Okay. The line, "The daisies you have tortured to tell your fate, retire them by
Mm,
braiding intact stems into my hair."
yeah,
Um, that reminds me of when we were kids, you used to pluck daisies and you used to pluck petals from a flower and say, he loves me not," or she
yeah,
loves me not.
yeah.
That reminds me of that saying, like, it's like, I don't wanna say a fortune telling, but trying to force answers from
That's
fate
really
or something.
interesting. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I see what you're saying because it says the daisies you have tortured. So that immediately makes me think, like you said, of the game where you're pulling the petals out one by one. That's essentially torturing them, all things considered.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I thought the line, "The roses you planted around your heart, the ones you bear, the thorny teeth," um, I thought that was like, roses are often an emotional symbol. And I
Hmm.
thought it was like the teeth with the thorns were like defensive boundaries, defense mechanisms.
Yeah, yeah, like a ring of protection. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Hmm.
then lastly, the I will protect your heart if you ask, then let me, I love you or I love you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um that I think is interesting because I feel like the speaker changes roles.
Mm. Hmm.
And goes for, and almost like from a victim to a guardian.
Hmm. Hmm.
Does any of that make sense?
No,
Or
it
is
does
I
make sense. Yeah, yeah, it does make sense. It's like there's like this element of like defensiveness all the way up until the end. And honestly, even at the end, there's still a little bit of that defensiveness because it's like the way that I see it, those last couple of lines, it's like if you rest and let me love you, it's almost like, the speaker of the poem saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. I need you to trust me and let me in." Right. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this at the end here. Yeah. That's really good analysis. I'm glad you took notes.
Yeah, uh, yeah, well, me too now. You'll see if you are glad at the end of the night, or if you
Yeah, looks like a few other people enjoyed the imagery. Wendy also called out the line "roses planted around your heart." That's really good. Yeah, all the imagery in this poem is excellent. Like I said, Kate never misses. So this is good stuff.
okay.
Yeah, definitely well written as well. Yeah, flowed really nicely.
Yeah, I like short poems. Short poems doing good short poems is hard.
It is. It is.
Like, if you wanna do a 700 word, free verse poem, you have a lot more leeway to get your meaning across.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I think I should say anytime you compress writing it, you make it the more you compress your writing, the harder it gets, I think, is maybe what I'm saying.
Yeah. 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 There's more pressure for each line to really deliver, and when you have less
Yeah,
words.
the
Yeah.
less words you just have less room for error.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Great.
But
Awesome. Well, fantastic first poem. That was nice. So what do we have lined up next?
I feel bad, so I'm gonna do Tavis's first. And Tavis is the dog who never asked me to audition. And Tavis is a neurodivergent poet.
Hmm.
Uh, Although I believe he also does the essays on cultural archaeology, maybe. I could just pull up his profile, but I like to live in the danger zone, Bradley. Yeah, he'll
That's
correct
fair.
me. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Um, yeah, okay. And the poem, as I said, was "The Dog Who Never Asked Me to Audition." I have spent most of my life learning how to enter a room, how loudly, how softly, how much myself the furniture can withstand. Learn faces before I learn people. The face that says, I understand. The face that says, that hurt. The face that says, please don't notice I'm calculating. Where everybody is standing. Eventually, you do something wrong enough and people call it personality. Funny, I thought I was just trying not to get anything wrong. The versions of me at telephones, for families, for strangers, for men I want to impress, for people I'm afraid to disappoint. Some of them are charming. One of them is extremely funny. Several probably have their stay cards removed. And then there's Pip. Pip has never once asked for the polished version. He has never cared whether I was interesting. He does not require a punchline. He does not know what engagement means. He has never checked out my subscriber account. He has never wondered whether I was too much. He knows only that sometimes my body becomes electricity with nowhere to go. So he puts his body next to mine. That's it. No diagnosis, no interpretation, no inspirational quote over a photograph of a mountain. Just, you are here, I am here, there may be cheese. For years, I thought being loved and being understood perfectly. maybe I had it backward. Maybe sometime being loved is being witnessed without being evaluated. A small animal asleep beside you, or every version of yourself you invented survival slowly clocks out for the night. No applause, no audience, no encore, just the strange relief of discovering there was somebody you never had to perform for because he already decided you belonged.
Hmm. Stefan, your audio is coming through a little like staticky for me. I just wanted to see if you could double check your mic connection there.
Is it better now?
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I saw Kathy said she lost us. Can anybody in the chat just confirm if we're coming through now? I want to make sure it didn't drop. It looks fine on my end, but
It
that
looks fine
doesn't
on
mean
my end.
much. Yeah.
Substack has that weird thing where they go black for a second.
Hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where the stream
I
goes
do.
black?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, good. The mic does sound better for everybody. Okay. Okay.
Was it terrible? Do I like need to reread it?
I would say let's go ahead and read it one more time, because it was
Okay.
getting a little staticky there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you don't mind.
I Yeah, okay. I can do that. Okay, so this is I don't know what this is Tavis Ferguson's poem called "The Dog Who Never Asked Me to Audition." I have spent most of my life learning how to enter a room, how loudly, how softly, how much of myself the furniture can withstand. I learned faces before I learned people. The face that says, I understand. The face that says, that didn't hurt. The face that says, please don't notice I'm calculating, where everyone is standing. Eventually, you do something long enough and people call it personality. Funny. I thought I was just trying not to get anything wrong. There are versions of me for telephones, for family, for strangers, for men I want to impress, for people I am afraid to disappoint. Some of them are charming. One of them is extremely funny. Several should probably have their SAG cards revoked. And then there is Chip. Chip has never once asked for the polished version. He has never cared whether I was interesting. He does not require a punchline. He does not know what engagement means. He has never checked my subscriber count. He has never wondered whether I was too much. He knows only that sometimes my body becomes electricity with nowhere to go. So he puts his body next to mine. That's it. No diagnosis, no interpretation, no inspirational quote over a photograph of a mountain. Just, you are here. I am here. There may be cheese. For years, I thought being loved meant being perfectly understood perfectly. Maybe I had it backward. Maybe sometimes being loved is being witnessed without being evaluated. A small animal asleep beside you, where every version of yourself you invented for survival slowly clocks out for the night. No applause, no audience, no encore, just the strange relief of discovering there was somebody you never had to perform for because he already decided you belonged to him.
That one hits home for me. Do you have any pets, Stefan? Dogs, cats, anything like that?
I have two cats.
2 cats? I've got a few cats here and 2 dogs. And I've had dogs pretty much my whole life. Obviously we had like a family dog when I was growing up, and then yeah. I the reason I ask is because obviously as like a dog dad, as I often describe myself, this poem really hit home for me. I was curious if obviously I want to know what you think of it first, but it just wanted to say that it really did. I was getting a little emotional there. It was a good poem.
Well, that's good. This poem's about masking, isn't it?
I think there's an element of it in here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it covers a few different topics as it goes on. I think the thread that connects all of it is the unconditional love that animals provide us. Like that's the main takeaway we got. But there's absolutely layers to it for sure.
Yeah, the line that stood out to me is eventually you do something long enough and people call it personality.
Mm, mm-hmm. Great line.
Because
Yeah.
that as somebody who is autistic. That to me is that blurring of the line between what is a mask and a performance and what a real person is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because when that line gets blurry, things get let's just say it's easy to dehumanize.
Yeah.
It gets a lot easier to dehumanize them.
Right.
You
Right.
start to lose your own personality.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was another line that had a similar message to me. I'm scrolling through it again here real quick, but there was another one that was let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah. While every version of yourself you invented for survival slowly clocks out for the night. Gosh, that really hit for me. Because I feel like I myself, like, I struggle to just relax. Like, it's like something I have to focus on and I have to, like, unwind, you know? It's like all that tension from the day, it takes a while to dissipate, right? Right? And so I really like that because, the line right before that says, "A small animal sleeps beside you while every version of yourself you invented for survival slowly clocks out for that." It's such a beautiful way of describing because that's how it is for me too. Like, when I'm done working on everything for the day, I'll go downstairs and have the dogs on the couch with me and throw like a game on the TV or whatever. And it takes time to like unwind but eventually they're all sleeping, nearby and I'm doing my thing and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment. And I just love the way that Tavis captured it there. Well,
Sam,
yeah.
we've done two and we've not done yours yet. Oh, did you do my work for me and posted the link, or do I have to do that? Because I forgot. Oh, you did.
I posted the link, but that's because Tavis sent it to me. I don't have your other links. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to remember to do that because I forgot real bad.
for sure. So yeah, looking at some of the comments here too, real quick. I wanted to look at that. So Ocean Being says I can especially
Haley,
relate to the wanting to be understood. Maybe I have it backwards. Yeah, another great call out there.
Haley says I'm autistic, and I definitely thought it was talking about masking.
Yeah, so she noticed that as well. Yeah, 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 yeah. You already answered Sam's question. Yeah, Ocean Being is like me. Have to focus on relaxing. Yep, yep, yep. Very relatable. Yeah, Tavis, he's the best executive producer ever. Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. No, I love this. It was such a beautiful tribute. It had so many layers to it. Beautifully written. Like the way that it describes things. It's like I don't. I obviously focus on trying to relax when I'm not working. But I don't, I've never really thought of it as like coming back to that line again. Like that, there's like other versions of me that are clocking out for the night. Like I just love the way that's described.
I
Um,
think it's cool. Not that we need to make a habit of doing this, but if I remember correctly, last month Tavis had a poem submitted where he randomly injected a celebrity name in the middle of it, and it was we talked about
right,
that for like 15 minutes. And this
right.
one's like a total one, almost a complete 180, and that there's no. I forgot who the celebrity was in the other one, but
Tavis said in the chat, no, no Ariana in sight. I think that
yeah,
was a
no,
reference, yeah, to that.
there you
Yeah, yeah,
go,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep, 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 yep. Oh, I love a good inside joke. Good stuff. Cool. Okay, great. That was fantastic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also, Kathy says we have genius writers on Substack, and that is 1000% true. So many geniuses. I discover new ones every week. All right.
It's too many to keep up with.
Yeah.
I end up ignoring 90% of them.
Yep, yep. Okay. Awesome, awesome. All right, well, I've got my next one pulled up here. So, for those of you who just joined, something that we're doing new this month is we're talking a little bit about the poet or the author before we read the poem. And in my case, I'm just looking at your Substack. So, but I think that's a nice layer to kind of get everybody situated before we start reading.
I'm happy you so quickly adopted that.
Oh, I love it. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm nothing if not flexible when it comes to changing this to make it better.
Yeah,
All right. Well, this
it's
next
about
person,
the
what's up?
writers, so we might as well it's about the writers, so we might as well spend a little time on them.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. All right. So this next person, though, I don't need to pull up a bio because I know exactly who this is, and I know she's watching right now. So next up, I've got a poem here from Hallie Jules, who we just shared one of her comments about the masking in the prior poem. But yeah, Hallie and I have been friends for a little while now, and she does just amazing work around like it's been a while since I read one of her poems. So I'm really excited for this one, but Hallie's work usually combines like very rich characters with just pitch perfect comedy. And it's not like surface level comedy either. It's like it's well timed, well paced, well thought out. But there's obviously like a deeper sort of like meaning behind it. Like it's the perfect kind of comedy in that regard. Um, I mean, so many things come to mind because I've read a lot of her work on my podcast, for example. But one of my favorite things from Hallie is the series she does called "It's All Greek to Phil," and I apologize, Hallie, if I get the details wrong here. But that one nicely combines like Greek mythology with a modern day setting, and the character of Phil is now, for reasons that you'll find out in the series, is now in kind of a modern day. I want to say it's New York or Manhattan or something like that, like a sitcom, and it's very funny. And so Hallie's one of those writers that can do comedy really well, but also give you meaningful, rich characters. And one last shout out before I read her poem, I want out her book, A Court of Books and Coffee, otherwise known as Acrobac. Okay, it's Chicago. Thank you, Hallie. Um, but yeah, her book Acrobac isn't published yet. She's been in the query trenches for a while, and you can find out all about that journey over on her Substack. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I love the premise. Yeah, and I think at this point I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think she's leaning towards self publishing it potentially. So it should be out and available sooner rather than later. But yeah, I cannot recommend Hallie's work enough, especially if you need a good laugh. But you appreciate like the kind of comedy that carries like some true emotional value behind it. Yeah, cannot recommend her work enough. So all that being said,
L- Link.
yes, let me drop the
Oh,
link in. This piece is,
you
yep.
looked like you were gonna forget.
I probably was going to actually, now you mention it. Yeah.
I don't mean to. I didn't mean to be rude. I just
No, you're good. You're good. I probably like, I'm going to say there was like a 75% chance I was going to forget to put the link in. So you're good.
yeah. Into Italy. I think is that Italy. I don't know how to pronounce that. Italy Gray. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love meeting new Substackers. So
Mhm.
and Italy has 8 subscribers after
Good
weeks of being on
stuff.
here. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go check them out later.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll make a note to also follow and subscribe. Thank you for coming on the live. All right. Yeah. So the link is in the chat there. This is Hallie Jules with a poem called Kryptonite. You can break my bones with sticks and stones, but words are my kryptonite. They're etched into my skin, literal pieces of my heart on my sleeve. If you rip my words to shreds, I can't tell if it's fiction or reality. Giving you my story is sacrifice. Abraham leading his child to slaughter. And the word killing here is struck out, but killing the prose I birth, laid on your altar, spill its blood, also crossed out. Let my blood, sweat, and tears flow, become the ink for your red pen. Perhaps it's not you I truly fear, but the possibilities you symbolize. You say, rip off the band aid, grow a thicker skin. Instead, I built a fortress, a tower of self preservation. If I let down my hair, will you climb up just to chop it? Should I let you peer through the window to my soul? Are you reverent enough to give you my heart to hold? Thanks, but no thanks. I'd rather hide from the masses, because in what world could I bear to divorce my creations from my worth? I am the imposter, the syndrome, haunted by ghosts of mentors past. Don't dream too big. Artists make no money unless they get lucky. God makes some for the spotlight and some to scrub toilets. Now I scrape hopes and dreams off the porcelain bowl, flushing them away day after day, scrubbing the seat with my pages, because what else are they good for? Yet I cannot make them stop. They refuse to go quietly. The ideas, the plots, the characters, they demand to be written, all the while unaware that doing so is akin to ordering my own execution. Why would I willingly submit to being skinned alive by readers, agents, publishers who will break me down, scatter my bones, reshape me in their image, line their wallets with scraps of my broken heart? But if they don't get me first, I fear my words will. They'll rot me from the inside out, bury me in a shroud, woven of my own self-doubt. They won't actually kill me. I'm no good to them dead. So I let them go on the wind fate to land where they may. After all, there's a shortage of unique voices in the world. It would be a shame to silence mine. Yeah. Yeah. Woo! That was a good one. That one's heavy, but very, very good. I'm gonna look at the comments here real quick. Yeah, great poem. I agree, Sarah. Yeah, wow is right. I feel this in my soul. Yes. Beauty is its own excuse for being. Great quote there. Love that. Yeah, this was amazing, and this is what I'm talking about, right? I always joke on Substack that I'm Hallie's like hype man, like that's my official title because I always like restack her stuff and post her work. But it's, I mean, here's your example, right? Here's your example. Like you can go read something of hers and laugh till you're crying, but then you can find something like this where the emotions are just as powerful, if not more so. It's fantastic. Really, really great work. Obviously, as a few have said, really relatable, very personal. Um, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
gosh,
oh,
there's some good lines. Go
Sarah,
ahead.
Sarah, you don't have to tell Bradley about the ending.
I do appreciate her saying that though, because it's true. You know? There's the running joke here, obviously, that I always comment on the endings, but it's because, for me, poetry in particular has a sort of momentum to it, right? And and I feel my favorite kind of poetry feels building to something, almost like it's a story, in a different form, right? So for me, it's like, unlike so for a story, right? There's the rising action, the climax, and then the resolution and the falling action. Um, backwards from that. But point is, there's a structure to stories. Poetry is a little different. For me, I feel like the best kind of poems, really they build up to a sort of climax that also doubles as an ending, right? Like again, it all feels like there's like momentum building to something. And so yeah, like again, it's like when I'm writing my own poems, I'm always thinking like, okay, how do I leave this on an ending that will echo, right? How do I create something that like will stay in your mind as you go on about your day? And that to me is what makes poetry powerful. But yes, you can boil it all down to just the fact that I like endings, yes.
Hi, Namita. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing people's names right today. I feel like I'm on a
It's,
roll.
Nimita, and I just figured that out
Namita?
because
Okay.
yeah, Nimita is my guest on this Saturday's podcast. So,
Oh,
for everybody
excellent.
watching, yeah, this Saturday, I'm gonna plug it real quick. I'm sorry, but I have to, especially because Nimita's here. This Saturday, Saved as Draft, available here on Substack and all major podcast platforms. It's usually out like in the afternoonish on Saturdays. But yes, this week I'll be featuring a full-length interview with Nimita, who is an artist and poet. Um, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a fantastic interview. Went really, really well.
Someday, I have a dream of Bradley inviting me on such a thing.
I would love to have you. I'd love to have you. It would be so easy because I already know you.
That's true. It would be quite easy.
Yeah. Hmm. No, the problem is I have a list of people who have told me that they want to be on the show, and it's like I'm just trying to work through it. At one point I was doing interviews every single week, and that was awesome because I had like so many people who wanted to be on the show. But man, is it hard to
Yeah.
do that every week, like time wise. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of had to break it up a little bit. But shout out to Hallie for saying it's her favorite podcast. By the way, thank you.
Yes. So this poem,
Yeah.
uh, oh boy, I took some notes. This is a I don't know how familiar you are with religious uh culture, I guess. This poem I feel is an allusion to Genesis 22.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm repeating things, but in the biblical tale, Abraham obeys and brings Isaac to the altar and demonstrates his devotion.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
okay. Yep. Yep. So here the writer is forced to make a sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
right? The writer or the narrator, however you want to do it, and is treating that shared vulnerability as a form of ritual surrender where the creator can hand the like child over to be judged or changed or destroyed.
Mm. Mhm, mhm.
I think that is a interesting thing because the altar and the knife represent like the publishing industry and like the editors and agent.
Yeah, definitely. Yep,
And you're okay.
yep. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that was my big moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, uh, my big revelation here
Mhm.
is that that's what I felt like, the poem was getting at.
Mhm, mhm. And Hallie just confirmed that that's right, yeah, in the chat there. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I go ahead,
to
sorry.
answer Ocean Bean, I have not read the whole thing. I happen to be familiar with Genesis and this
Mhm.
and a few other books just because they're interesting to me for a variety of both religious and non-religious reasons.
For sure. Yeah, no. Good question, though, good question. Yeah, no, to what you were saying though, yeah, I caught that with the reference to Abraham there and how that connects to the sacrifice because that's the thing, like and I feel like everybody watching this understands because we're all creatives, but it's like when you're a creative, it's like everything you make is like essentially, metaphorically your child. Like it like you brought it to life, you created it yourself, you it's a piece of you, right? And so to have to surrender that to somebody else, even just an editor, or in this case, an editor plus like, a potential agent to the market, so on and so forth. I feel like, yeah, that's a great, comparison there because I think it's exactly the same. One thing that I'll say is that I posted a note earlier referencing my time as a ghostwriter. And one of the reasons why I stopped being a ghostwriter after like 5 years of doing it is because it really emotionally wore on me because I was working on these full length novels that no one would ever know that I wrote. And having to put all of myself into something like that and then just send it off like you're sending your kid to school. But the difference here is you never see your kid again, right? That wears on
Yeah.
you after a while. You know what I mean? Like that's exhausting. Um, and yeah, so that was the part of me that kind of really resonated with what Hallie was saying here. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so good, so good. A very personal poem, but extremely relatable. I think for anybody who's creative in any capacity. So yeah, whew, really good. And I'm going to say it again. The ending was amazing. It was a great ending.
Yeah, Vaddy, like, I respect your consistency.
I thank you. I try to. I try to be if anything, I try to be consistent, So I
Yeah,
appreciate you saying that.
you are consistent in your love for the end of the poems.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep.
Yep.
If it echoes, if that ending hits just right, I mean, there is nothing else quite like it, in my opinion. It's
Mhm.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like gravy with chunks, with lumps.
yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
get a lump of gravy, it's just there's nothing else like it in the world.
Somebody needs to clip that and just have that as a closing, like, without context.
We don't need context. Yeah, you don't need any
No,
context
that
for
is
that.
a universal truth. That is a nugget of wisdom. Um,
That is the wisdom you are in Substack here.
Sarah's comment about Bradley Core. I mean, it's true though. It's true. There have to be others who agree with me. I can't be the only one. I mean, I might be.
I'm sure there are others who agree with you.
No, for sure, for sure.
Laura has entered the chat. Laura, if you DM me a poem, I think I'll have time.
Good
And I
stuff.
would love to read Laura's poetry. If I don't know if you are familiar with Laura at all, Bradley.
I don't think I've read Laura's work. I'm trying to think of something. So yeah, no, that'd be great. Yeah, if there's a piece that
Yeah,
Laura
if
would
she
like to
has
hear.
a piece that she'd like me to read on the live, I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I don't think do we have a thing with adult topics? I don't think we. I think if it's too horny, I might save it for the end.
For sure.
I
I
don't think
mean, if it's one of those
yeah, I
things
don't
where it's like it yeah, if it I mean, I think we just give everybody a heads up in that case, and then it's like
yeah,
if you wanna step out, it's all good. You know what I mean? Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
So, no
Yeah.
no restriction on topic law.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's how we handle that. We're all here, so, like I said, just give
Yeah,
a bit of a heads up.
if it's horny or
Um,
political, I'll give a heads up.
yep, 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 yep. Also, Hallie is a big Princess Bride fan. I didn't mention that in her intro, but yes. I know that's a fact for sure. Um, all right, cool. Well, yeah, great poem there from Hallie, Kryptonite. Really, really good stuff. Okay. I will defer to you, my friend, for the next one.
I'm going to do people when I see somebody that's in the chat, I'm gonna do the
Uh-huh.
people in the chat first.
That's a good idea.
So I'm gonna
I was
do,
honestly thinking about doing something similar, so I'm glad you said that, yeah.
and I'm not going to be I believe the technical term is nincompoop, and
Yes.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So Bradley doesn't have to try to be my producer today.
Furiously searching on Substack while you're reading it.
Yeah, we don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
This one is by Sarah SMR. She
Woo!
is the
Yep.
leader. She is the leader of the Stefan's fan club,
Nice.
uh, and she makes up wonderful words to compliment people with. I think she's in high school, and she writes almost exclusively poetry. And some nights, if you're lucky, she plays hangman on lives.
Hmm, very nice. Good
And the poem
quotes.
is, what was that?
I was just gonna say the poem has nice quotes at the beginning from Tolkien, Oscar Wilde, William Faulkner. It's nice.
Yeah, all the wonderful people.
Mhm.
She quotes. Should I read them? Do you think I should read them?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, the quotes are, "Not all those who wander are lost" by J.R.R. Tolkien. "The road goes ever on and on" by Tolkien. "We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars" by Oscar Wilde.
Mhm.
And "The past is never dead. It's not even past" by William Faulkner. Um, J.R.R. Tolkien is really hard to say when you have a speech impediment. Probably just in
Yeah.
case you ever this is in case you ever have that experience.
I could not yeah, I could see that, yeah. But yeah. No, great quotes though. Very good quotes. Also, thank you to Sam for the nice compliment there. I love listening to podcasts, if there's a live stream like this, yeah, I love doing that while making dinner. It's one of my favorite things
Uh,
to do.
Sa Sam also has a poem which I'll do, which will be the next one I do after this one.
Perfect. Looking
Because
forward to it.
now that I know the here. Okay, and this
Mm.
one's called "I Will Die on This Street,"
Mhm.
and it goes, they don't see me. I walk these streets like I know them, well enough to die on them. But do I want to die on them? No, yes, maybe. It's the day that I do that gets to me. I will die on the street, but the streets will live on me until the sun meets the moon and greets sun. They will hold me like strangers, collect me like I'm valuable, smile at me past the beer bottle, and salute me like I'm fragile. The street will know my name, my favorite color, my secrets, and my independence. They will know my smiles, my pretending, my love. Do they know of the H's? The heart, the healed, the hurt. Each carries a devastating creation. It brings me a sting of salvation. Do we know what we created? They do not know you. They say to stay away from strangers, but the world is our home, and we don't even know it truly. We survive from a stranger. We collect our wages like beggars, and we embrace our greed like some saviors. At the end of this day, we don't have to collect. Tomorrow will bring, and they will forget. They will move with a sway like they own this land of decay. I say they can have it because I'm done with fighting this war that outweighs my decay. At the end of each time, I still lean back I tell the same old story of relay, like a race between replaying. This is not worth it. This is such cowardice. I want to forget. It's the day that I do that gets to me. I will die on the street, this memory, but the street will live on me until the sun meets the moon, moon greets the sun. I do, but do I want to die on them? No, yes, maybe.
Mm, okay. Well, what are your thoughts on that one, Stefan? I'll let you go first.
It's harder when I do them because then I don't have time to take notes.
Do you want me to go
Uh,
first, and then you can jot down some thoughts? Because we can flip it if you want.
no, oh, I mean, we can. Otherwise, I can just give my surface level thoughts, and you can be the one that giving the detailed biblical connections.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I think the poem is um Mia's the chronic like and the intrusive thoughts, these the cyclical nature of intrusive thoughts and like
Mm-hmm.
the chronic despair when you have like an endless looping tape. And yeah, I think you see that in the form of the poem because the
Mm-hmm.
poem loops back on itself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Um, and there is a uh there was a line. What was the line about the strangers about how they like watch and hold?
Mm-hmm.
That was I thought it was like this weird thing about what would you call it? Like surveillance and versus caring. Like people
Mm.
will watch and pay attention to you, but they don't actually care.
Right. 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 Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about you, Bradley?
Yeah, no, I really like this one. The thought that came to me is that this reminds me a lot of like noir type storytelling. And I've only ever written a few things like in that genre, but something that I really like about that genre is that it often treats the city itself as a character. And more often than not, it makes the reader feel like the city itself is alive. Like whenever you're reading a hard boiled detective novel type stuff, they'll have lines in there like, this city will chew you up and spit you out, thing. And it makes the city feel alive, right? And so in this case, I feel like there's a little bit of that noir kind of flavor to it in a really good way. Because it describes the street as this almost living thing, and this idea that you can die on it and the world will go on without you, but it'll almost like drink your blood in a sort of way, like in the sense that like it will, the street will know my name, my favorite color, my secrets, and my independence. This idea that it can absorb you, that part I really liked. It created like a personification of the street of.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Uh oh, guys. Uh oh. Is it me or is it him? That's the question. Oh, there's Bradley. Okay. I think Bradley's back or am I back? One of us disappeared.
You were frozen for a second. Everything's good now on my end. Where did I cut out?
Yeah, you were frozen for a second for me. So
Okay.
I didn't know who was actually frozen and who was really
If
here
there's one thing we can count on with Substack Live is that there's going to be problems every time of some sort.
every single time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Every time it likes to do something. Well, I'll just repeat the last thing I was. I was basically talking about how I really like the personification of the city and of the street here, how it feels like a living thing. And then I made a joke at the end about how I really like the ending, in the sense that it looped back around, like you had said, Stefan. I thought that was a nice touch. So hopefully that
Yeah,
covers where I
that
was
was that
frozen.
was I always like looping in just any kind of writing. My brain just I get dopamine hits every time somebody repeats himself.
It
It's a very strange kink of mine.
No, I like. I mean, I've done that. I've done that with some of my stuff though too, where it's like I will intentionally have like the first and last line be the same. For example, like that. Like when you do repetition like that, right? It really hits home. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Also, shout out to Sarah. She says we nailed it. So that's awesome. I like it whenever we get it. Like we like analyze it and we're spot on. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, I think what are we batting like 10%, maybe?
I mean, yeah,
We're not batting high.
we're just hitting home runs. That's what we do here on these lives when it's not freezing. Um,
Yeah. When we're not having technical issues, we're doing great.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, good. I'm happy to hear people validating my experience that Bradley was the one who was at fault for the Substack ad.
I will take the blame, but I'm gonna say also Substack's live platform isn't the best, so maybe it's a little half and half. That's all I'm saying.
It might,
I
yeah,
don't love
it might actually be the worst
I
live
I
platform.
I
But
don't love my internet provider though, and I'm not standing up for them. So yeah, it could have easily been my fault. um, all right. All right. Well, we'll keep moving along here. So
yes, sir.
if I'm not mistaken, Trisha Meyer is in the stream here. I had her poem pulled up next. So if Trisha's still here, we'll do that one next. Try to prioritize who's watching as a thank you, obviously, for being here. In any case,
Just
let me
because it's cool to be in the chat when we get,
yeah,
yeah, it's just, that's just
and
really
getting like the actual like real time feedback from the
uh,
author is really really cool. It's one of the best parts about being live.
although
Awesome, Trisha's here.
it,
That's great.
it makes it worse when I like stumble on like a two-letter word.
Right.
With the audience, yeah. Like, oops, I stumbled on the. Oh, that's not good.
All right. Well, as a quick intro here, let me go ahead and put the link in the chat real quick first, so I don't forget again, because otherwise Stefan's gonna have to make me honest here. Here we go. Okay. So Trisha's bio on Substack says that she writes flash fiction and microfiction. Sometimes it gets crazy, and I write more than 1,000 words. I have a spoiled English bulldog. By day, Trisha's a community health nurse. She's also been published on uppagus.com and in all your stories. So that's fantastic. Always love seeing credentials like that. Yeah. So mostly flash fiction and microfiction. If you're on the live here and you want to go subscribe, that's kind of what to expect there. Yeah, I kind of got my start here on Substack, hosting obviously Flash Fiction February. So I have a soft spot for flash fiction and microfiction. Not easy to write, as many writers discover when they try it.
It,
Having those constraints can be tough.
it's weird because I've written just over 100 flash fiction stories under 300
Hmm.
words,
Hmm.
and I have never seen the post about your flash fiction prompts until after they were due.
Yeah, no, I mean we're always fighting the algorithm. I've had a few people say that like my stuff hasn't shown up from them for them, and it's well we're just gonna keep trying.
Yeah,
But in any case, so yeah, Trisha Meyer is our next author here, and this piece is entitled "Broken, Not Broken." Is it grief or relief? Can it be both in 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour? I didn't want to be broken, and I suppose I'm not. Not really. But it feels like broken, broken in pieces, mosaic, spread across the floor. Pick up the pieces and try to start again with new information. And tomorrow, start again tomorrow. Hope they understand tomorrow. But they won't, because I won't explain, because they don't care that much. And it's a really long story. Mm. Yeah, another poem that not very long, but man, does it hit the point. It definitely gets the point across. Yeah, first impressions here, and this is the case with a lot of Trisha's work. Is like it's microfiction, it's flash fiction, it's poetry like this. It does a lot with very little words, which is again not easy. But yeah, this particular piece here, it to me, I'm someone who puts a lot of like themes of like trauma and kind of dealing with trauma and healing in my work, and I definitely pick up on themes like that. I think with this one, where and you're all gonna laugh, but the ending, um, the the last portion of the poem here, like the second half, really resonated with me specifically, because I really like this part about picking up the pieces, trying to start again with new information, sort of like focusing on tomorrow as a fresh start. And then I also really like the hope they understand tomorrow, but they won't. And then this idea that the speaker here won't explain because they don't care that much, and it's a really long story. Like that, that's an impactful ending for me because I feel like in a lot of cases we assume that's the case, and it very well may be, right? Like say like I'm trying to think of a good example here, but it's like if you're if you're trying to talk to somebody and you get even like a hint that they're not interested in what you're saying, or maybe they're distracted. There could be 1,000 reasons why they're not fully engaged. But I'm the kind of person where it's like if I'm trying to like open myself up to you and I'm getting the vibe that you're just not hearing or listening or actively listening, I will immediately take that and be like, "Oh, well, they don't care. Like they don't care. I just need to be quiet. I'm annoying them, right?" And that's kind of the vibe that I got with the ending here. And again, it's ambiguous because we don't know the whole story. It's like it's entirely possible that like because I know I get in my own head and assume things, right? Like I'll find something to latch onto, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's me. I'm the problem," kind of thing. And I felt like that was portrayed really authentically here with this one. Ending on that line, it's a really long story. It's like again, you'll create excuses not to open up, right? And yeah, I definitely thought that was a pretty powerful aspect of this one here. So yeah, these poems continue to be absolutely amazing. What did you think of this one, Stefan?
The lines, I didn't want to be broken in pieces, mosaic spread across the floor.
Hmm.
Okay. Maybe I went too deep on this. Is that rebuilding after trauma?
I see that as yeah, like that's how I
Okay.
interpreted it. Yeah, obviously, Trisha, if
Yeah,
you'd like to weigh in on that, but yeah, that's how I saw
that
it.
was my thing. One, the initial bit is the initial lines was is it grief or relief? Can it be both in 1 week, 1 day, 1 day, 1 hour?
Hmm.
That struck me as pushing back on society's tendency to like put us in buckets and have us in our little lane.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And that the way you feel isn't necessarily like a neat singular thing that can be or just categorized and organized.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so those are the 2 points that stood out to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely picked up on that as well. I think like you were saying, it's like society as a whole expects us to just get on with it, to heal and move on. But healing itself is not a linear journey, nor is it the same length for any particular person, right? And so yeah. But it's
No,
interesting the grief or relief and how it can be both. I feel like that's a reference to with time there can be healing. It can be both, right? The grief comes first, and then maybe the relief
well,
comes with healing.
did
Yeah.
it mean did was it about the that not everybody experiences the emotion the same?
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like you said, trying to
Like,
put it in boxes, and it
is
doesn't
it?
work like that.
Yeah, because to me it was like the guy who giggles at a funeral.
Mhm. Right.
Like, I could be way off. Maybe I'm the guy who giggled at a funeral once, so I could be way off and be projecting or something. But that's
Yeah, but it's like
it
yeah.
said grief or relief. I took it as w- during trauma, you can feel things that aren't like your stereotypical grieving of the trauma.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And a few comments to call out too from the chat here. Trisha says that late diagnosis of ADHD, hard to deal with in your 50s, hard for people to understand. Knowing that, I can definitely see how that's layered in here. Obviously, Hallie shared a similar story there. Matt the Horror Cat says exhaustion from trying to explain your pain. Yeah, definitely picked up on that. Um,
That's a good point. I didn't even
yeah,
think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Trisha, for sharing. Thank you for also sharing your story there behind the poem here. Yeah, this was beautiful. I love I feel like without even trying, I feel like the theme of tonight's poetry so far is very like, being vulnerable and really showing, the world sort of, not only how you're feeling inside beneath the surface, but also kind of, putting your trauma and your scars into your poetry in a way that's like, "Hey, this is me. This is what I've been through. This is my story," and I like that a lot. So it's
I
it's
hate, I hate
it's
to
an
put more on you, Bradley, but I'm restacking these as we go.
oh, you it's okay.
I
That's
hate to
good.
put that on you. I hate to put it on you.
No, it's just okay. I'm gonna restack this one, but I can't go back and restack the other ones while also reading
That's
new ones.
fine.
Like, but yeah, I'm gonna restack this one real quick. But what I was gonna say is, I try not to restack stuff on Substack without stopping to talk a bit about it. Like, yeah, I mean, if you look at my restacks, it's typically like at least a paragraph or two. And
Mhm,
I do that. I do that for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is that I want to like actually take a second to appreciate the work and talk about it,
mhm.
as opposed to just throwing it back into the
Yeah.
algorithm. So
No,
that's
no,
that's
I'm restacking while you're talking about while you're giving the comments.
okay. All right, you're
Yeah,
using the time
I'm not
wisely.
restacking. I'm not restacking before we read. That'd be blasphemous. Those people have a special place on Substack where they restack before they read. And this is my work, and restack it whenever you want. I don't care.
Hmm, hmm.
Bradley has gotten to the point where he's ignoring me in these lives now.
I am not ignoring you. I'm trying to type while also listening to you, and I'm not great at
Mhm.
multitasking. Um, okay. All right. All right. All right. All right.
Mhm.
Well, that's my poem. You have my full undivided attention now. What do
That's
you
good.
got for us next?
I'm out of things to say. Did you talk about the poet before that one, or did you
I
forget
did.
to talk
Yes,
about them? Okay,
I did.
I was
Yeah.
just not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I must have been the one not listening for a minute
Somebody else was ignoring.
there. Okay. I'm gonna do one by Sam Lexo. Lexo is how I'm gonna go with. Unless they correct me. Um, I'm gonna do this based on the Substack because I don't know this person very well. Although I have seen their name a few times, obviously. Ooh, and speaking of which, they're at 98 subscribers, so that's exciting for them.
Hmm.
Uh, they are a musician and have a serial and that they publish on Thursdays.
Hmm.
And they don't talk much about what they write. So I don't really know much more about them that I want to throw out there. But they're a musician. They publish serial fiction on Thursdays, and they obviously write poetry too. Are you more
Very nice.
familiar with this artist, Bradley?
I don't believe I'm super familiar. No, but
Okay.
I think your intro was good there. Yeah, good to know about the cereal on Thursdays. That's cool.
And then the poem is titled "Lover," a poem.
And don't forget to put the link in if you haven't already. I don't think you have.
Keeping me honest. Yeah,
That's what we do. We
yeah,
look out for
that's
one
pretty
another.
good. The link will be right here for people. Okay, and it will be it's a lover, a poem. Lover, be near. Please be strong. For us both tonight. Lover, you'll always be inside my heart, secure forever. Lover, don't be afraid. It is safe here in my arms now. Lover, be still. I'm on my way to your heart. Lover, stay here next to me and say it will be all right. Lover, you're my girl and it'll never end. You have my heart.
Hmm. There's also some context there at the end, an author's note. Do you maybe want to read that as well? It says it's important.
Yeah. I feel it important to give some context for this one. This is not specifically about anybody in particular, kind of. It is taking a step back and just loving someone you haven't met yet. It is
Mm,
knowing that there is someone out there that will complete this vapor of a moment that total comfort and peace of spending time with your love.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad we read that. That's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love to know the context. That actually adds another layer to this one. One thing I'll say is that um, there's an old poem of mine. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but there's an old poem of mine where I put a question in there about like, can you miss someone you never met? And so I really like how the note here says, loving someone you haven't met yet. Like, yeah, that's nice. But I don't want to trample on your thoughts. So what else did you think about this one?
Um, oh boy. So, do I go with the context of the author's note, or did I go with my thoughts when I was after I read the poem? Uh-oh, glad he's gone. Or he has the craziest stare in all of existence. Or I'm gone. They're ready. Okay, do I give my thoughts before the author's note or after?
You can give us both if you want, but I was going to say, I mean, after is fine too because that's the full context, right? So
That's the full context. So, how do I? Maybe I'll do the lines. Hmm, I. I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna defer.
okay, no worries. Let me grab the
I don't want to. I don't want to because the I had a thought and then I had the author's note and now I want a moment to think about it.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think the author's note does change a little bit because as I was reading it, I was like, "Oh, this is really beautiful. This is a nice love poem. It's clearly about somebody. Like it's comforting. It's reassuring." Um, like we talked about earlier, I like the repetition here with the use of the word lover. Like they're referring to this person by that name, and that's used to kind of ground each stanza. So, lover, do this or that, or this is what I want or need from you. So I like that structure. It created a nice flow. And again, in the author's note, I was like, oh, this is definitely about a person. Like this is very specific. I think the author's note, I actually like the poem even better because it's a pretty good just love poem, right, on its own. But once you add a context in, this idea of taking a step back and kind of picturing like your ideal relationship and what you would want out of it and what you're asking for. Like when you think about it from that perspective, I feel like the poem obtains a lot more depth in a really good way. So yeah, I think the author's note's important to take into consideration. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Those were good thoughts, Bertha.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't
I
freeze
appreciate
midway
yeah.
through.
You did not. You were buttery smooth the whole time.
Love it.
Okay. The seems to be a like. Can you overcome loneliness? Can you be okay? So I had this thought when you were talking,
Mhm.
because I was actively listening. I promise you. But I had this thought you were talking about can you overcome can you be lonely if you know you will have somebody with you at some point in the near future or in the
Mm.
future at all? Can you
Mhm.
truly be lonely if you like how do I want to put this? Like if you were like 15 or 16 and you knew you'd have and you're like lonely because you haven't had a girlfriend yet.
Mhm.
This is just kind of conjecture at this point, but would that loneliness go away if you knew at 25 that that you'd be married?
Right, right, right. It's like if you had that assurance, like that
Yeah, if you had
that
that assurance, would that would that solve your loneliness issue? Because I think with the context of the author's note,
Mhm.
the author is I don't want to say like self comforting, but is conquering a fear that a very human fear of being alone
Mhm. Mhm.
with the with like a preemptive grace. Like,
Right.
instead of grieving the loneliness, they're building up the relationship that they're going to have in the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they're flipping um, they're flipping, the, um, flipping, the, 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 fli they're flipping the emotion on its head, kind of.
Right, 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 right.
And I
Yeah,
think
no, I can.
oh, I think the line, "This vapor of a moment," is interesting because I think it, like, strips away the panic of, "Oh, here I am alone."
Mhm.
I don't know. That's my thought on it.
Yeah, no, I think
What do you feel?
I think that's
Go ahead.
that's a really good analysis, and I would agree. Definitely like kind of considering sort of the tone here, and again having the context. Now, one thing I'll say is that Sam said in the chat here the entire thing was written in about half an hour at midnight. LOL, and that's funny, but also I'm not sure about you, Stefan, but for me, I always say this on Substack. Specifically with poetry, I never plan to do a poem like ahead of time. It's always for me, it's always something where it's like I'll be driving or I'll like be going to the store or just doing something, right? And it'll hit me like a ton of bricks, like in the moment, right? And that's how 99% of my poems happen. And it's just like, it's just I get this idea and then I sit down, I probably spend like a half hour, maybe hour writing it. And then, I'll probably spend more time after that. Usually I try to record narration and stuff, which takes more time. But the point is, poetry is very like situational for me, and I'm curious. It sounds like for Sam in this case that was very similar. Like it kind of just happened, and it came in right now, in that moment. But yeah, is it the same for you, or do you kind of like plan to do poems like ahead of time?
I'm a I'm a I'm a black sheep here,
Yeah.
just by the style of. I mean, you've read two of my poems, but just the style of poem I do doesn't lend itself to spur of the moment
Right, right, right. Because your stuff
because
is usually, yeah.
I'm doing like technical metered parody. I want to say, you know what I mean? Like I can't write a what was the first one, like the Pinocchio poem. Uh-oh, he's blurry. Okay, I can't write like a dark Pinocchio in uh um octometer in Edgar Allan Poe's Octometer. I can't do that on a whim without any planning. So I'm not writing. I don't think I'm writing the style of poetry that allows me to do that. Is all, I guess.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't think about that, but yeah, now you brought it up, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, Sam says sometimes I find that planning chokes it out and takes the soul. Yeah, that's interesting. I think like anything, there's a lot of different like because poetry is so varied, in all the different types, the different structures, and stuff like that. I think certain types of poetry, I would say, lend themselves more so to spontaneous creation as opposed to, as you were saying, Stefan, when it's more structured, more metered. That's something where by its very virtue you have to put more planning into it. So I think that's an interesting call out there. But okay, cool, awesome. Well, that was another great one. We are
Yeah,
not.
unless you're more talented than me. I mean, somebody might be able to do uh chaotic octometer on a whim, but I can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, if I was doing something like super structured like that, I would need time 100%. I think it's for me, it's like my stuff is like it's free verse, and then sometimes I'll have a specific kind of just structure or idea or like pattern that I want to include. But again, that's all in the moment, right? And it's usually not super complex, right? So, um, okay, all right. So let's see
Yeah, and
here.
I want to. You can do structured poetry on a whim.
Yeah.
It's just you can't do the more um yeah, you can do like the more complex the structure is, the harder it is to do on a whim. Maybe what I'm saying, because like
I agree.
I can do a limerick in, which is the AABBA
Right.
rhyme scheme. I can do that in 15 minutes. I can do that on a whim.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think I've seen one of your poems where you rhymed every other line.
Yeah. No, I definitely done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. No, really interesting discussion there, and yeah, it's interesting to talk about how the timeline of these things is affected by the complexity of the poem that you're reading. So that makes sense. All right, cool. So moving right along here. Next piece here, wanna also do like we've been doing here. I want to read something from someone who I know is in the chat. So this next piece here is from our friend Ocean Being, who sent over a few links. This is one of the ones that I
Ooh,
grabbed from that. Yeah,
they give you a smorgasbord to pick up from, huh?
yeah, no, which I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me start by putting the link in. This one's called Everbloom. I hope that's a good one. Ocean Being, if there's a one you would prefer besides this one, let me know now. So drop in the chat before I get started if there's one
Uh,
you want me to do instead.
do I have a moment to get a drink?
Yeah, go ahead. We can take a quick break. Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait till Stefan gets back. But yeah, Ocean Being, let me know. And I think you sent over 3 different links. I just grabbed this one because I really like the title, but if there's a better one. I would love to do them all, but we usually try to do one from each author so we can get through as many as possible. If we ever do one of these, and it's like a marathon stream where we're here for several hours, we can definitely do multiples. That'd be fun. And maybe we would do that one day. Okay, cool. This one's very open for interpretation. Great. Glad to hear it. Good stuff. Also, shout out to Hallie for mentioning the power up prompts. Yeah, I can imagine that a ballad took you days. It would take me days. There's no way I could just like have a ballad ready like that. Um, well, while I'm waiting for Stefan to come back, again, this is a shameless plug, so apologies to all 34 of you watching. But when I'm not running writing challenges on Substack, Hallie mentioned the power up prompts. Those will be coming back. Those are my way of still doing writing prompts in between the big challenges that I do about 4 times a year. The next big challenge will actually start in October. So if you're a fan of horror, I did a really big horror writing challenge last year. That'll be a thing again. But yeah, in between every Saturday, excuse me, no, Sundays. I switched from Saturday to Sundays. Every Sunday in between the challenges are when those power up prompts come out on my Substack. And they include 3 different elements that you can use within a submission. And of course, the benefit of doing them is that you get to have me talk about your story or poem on the podcast saved as draft. So, end of plug. Thank you for listening. Nobody left. I appreciate it. Um, it looks like Nimita also said, I just drew you and Stefan during the live. You were my muses for my art this morning here. Yes, that's fantastic. I hope you posted. I would love to see it. So good. So good. All right. Hallie says, yes, they're so good. I now have a couple new novel ideas from Power Up Prom Stories. Yes. I love that. And that has actually happened more than a few times, which I consider to be one of the highest compliments. If you do one of my prompts and you are so inspired that you run off and do a whole serial or a book, I mean, there's literally no greater flattery for a prompt than to say that it created something like that. So thank you for saying that, Hallie. And Daniel Coates, another writer that I'm friends with here on Substack, he had a whole series called The Water Thief that's really good that started because of a power up prompt. So yeah, they're good. They work. Yeah, thank you, Ocean Being. I really love doing the writing prompts. They've always worked well for me. So it was one of those things where it was like I always treat a lot of my stuff on Substack as like, well, if it helped me and like it significantly helped me, then it's probably, statistically speaking, gonna help somebody else. Right. So that's usually where my head's at when I do stuff on Substack. Anyway, I am talking a lot in between poems here. Let me jump into this piece from Ocean Being called Everbloom.
Did you post a link?
I did, but it's a bit ways up. I can post it again.
I got it.
Okay.
We're good. We're all good.
Just for convenience sake, I'm gonna drop it again for everybody before I start here.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
This profanity in this, if anyone cares.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, it looks like this like the first line. There's some strong language here. So yeah, heads up to anybody watching. I think if you got any kids in the room, you might want to mute for a second. All right, here we go. Everbloom from Ocean Being. Fucked, 'cause you love. Air inside water. Drown like a stone. Lungs under sky. Reaching high. There's a line you just licked down into your body. Hush. Don't bite your tongue out. Do you hate feeling? Handwritten. Feelings. Seeing the pocket of loss. It lives in me. My insides are crackling black. I feel ever blooming lilacs up in my head. Do you want someone by your side, bleeding with you until you die? Indeed, you were made to bleed for life. Wow. Okay. So one thing that I think, hopefully everybody here has the link open. The formatting here is a pretty important part of the experience, I would say. You can see if you open the link that throughout each of the stanzas, the words are kind of intentionally sort of slotted into different spacing horizontally. I love when poems do that. I've seen a lot of really cool applications of that. It just creates like a whole other sensory experience as you're reading because your eyes are obviously naturally jumping across these different kind of intentionally placed lines.
Do
I like that
do
a
you
lot.
think do you think there's a reason it's formatted like an outline?
There usually is. Yeah, there usually is. I
'Cause
think
I would not have because I noticed it in the formatting, the space, like, you'd space an outline.
yeah, 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 yeah. Obviously,
But
I
I
would love to
couldn't
hear what
I don't have a I don't have an immediate, like, thought as to why you do it that way, but that's an
well,
interesting thing.
yeah, obviously, I wanna hear what Ocean Being was thinking here, but when I look at it here, I feel like the reason why it's formatted this way is because the actual lines here are quite short. They're only a couple of words per line, so it has like this kind of almost like staccato kind of rhythm to it, where it's very like dump 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 like it feels very like intentional, like with the length of each line. And I feel like that sort of fragmented rhythm it becomes even more apparent when it's formatted like this, right? Like it feels like the lines are short, the rhythm is short, right? And it almost feels like fragmented, like not in a bad way, but fragmented, right? Like it's pieces. And so, it's kind of like the other poem that we yeah, it's like the other poem that we read from Trisha where it mentioned like pieces like lying on the ground like a mosaic. I kind of get like an actual mosaic feeling from this, right? Where it feels like the lines were sort of dropped and they shattered across the page. Like that's what I'm getting. And I think that works because the lines are also short. Like everything's playing into itself. And
I
and
like
I, and I like that.
I like Melanie's comment about them tumbling, words tumbling out of each other.
Right, 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 right. Sounds like the words are tumbling out one after another. Yeah, no, that's a really good point for Melanie. Yeah, yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Melanie, I'd love to have you share in the chat here. But your work has done some stuff like this. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like one of the poems I saw from you a while back. I don't remember the name, unfortunately, but I recall you doing something really cool with the text formatting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that from you before. So yes, the words tumbling out one after another Ocean Being says I explained it well, so that's I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, before I let you jump in, Stefan, I also wanted to obviously comment on the poem itself, and I was talking a lot about the formatting. I love the title. Everbloom is a very catchy title, and that's why I picked this one when I was looking at the links from Ocean Being. But yeah, the fragmented nature of the lines really hit home for me because when you combine that with the formatting, like I'm looking here, like do you hate feeling handwritten? That's a really great line. My insides are crackling black. I feel ever blooming lilacs up in my head. Like again, just imagery alone right there. Amazing. This idea of flowers ever blooming inside of your head. Do you want someone by your side bleeding with you until you die? Indeed, you were made to bleed for life. And I'm doing it again, but that ending is so good. um this idea like you were made to bleed for life. Like to me that says that as human beings we should expect and like as part of our existence we will endure pain of some sort all the time, right? So you were made to bleed for life. I feel like that's a call to that, right? Where like you are always as a human being just part of the human experience experiencing some level of pain, right? Whether it's mild, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. I feel like existence, as they often say, is pain, right? And it looks like Ocean Being agrees. So yeah, that was a really powerful part of it. And again, great ending. Just saying. But yeah, let me get your thoughts, Stefan.
I think oh, man. You're gonna make me second guess myself.
Well,
Um,
Ocean Being did say there's a lot of ways to interpret this. So whatever you came up
I
with is
took
probably
it
valid. Yeah.
I took it as romanticizing self-destruction,
Interesting. Okay.
which
We
is
look
a
at it
weird
through.
way. And and specifically lines like, "Indeed, you are made to bleed for life,"
Mm,
and the line, "Bleeding with you until you die." They lean heavily on this, like, trope where pain becomes a currency of debt, where people and you see this in, music. Emotional pain is often associated very strongly with good music, and you see this a lot in poetry as well in Substack, where,
mhm.
emotional pain becomes almost like a currency you spend to get attention. And this sounds
Mm,
terrible. The way I'm saying it sounds terrible, but
right. But yeah.
I think I have a point here.
Yeah.
Um, it comes down to this idea of where you're, like, romanticizing this, that you have to burn yourself out or hurt to really feel what you wanna feel out of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um And I think it's kind of the part that, I think is interesting at is when it asks, "Do you hate feeling?" It sounds like it's questioning whether or not, it's worth the emotional destruction to get to where you wanna go.
Mhm.
Um, so, that was my weird interpretation is that it as to what the poem is talking about.
I know. I think that's a really valid interpretation. Honestly, I know, like as you said, like it may have come across a little harsh, but this idea of like having to spend emotional currency in order to be seen. I mean, as harsh as that is, I do think that that is the case, and that is sort of the unspoken culture, I think, of existing online, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, so I mean, I think you brought up a really valid point there, and I do see that reflected in the piece here. So I think that's a valid interpretation. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I was being harsh. The language is harsh, not as to the quality of the poem. It was harsh as to
Right.
the state of affairs that it's
Yeah.
representing.
Yeah, the state of the world, like the
Yeah,
reality of the world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's harsh. Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Really, really good stuff from Ocean Being. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very nice. Okay. All right. Well, let's have you take on the next one, Stefan. Whenever you're ready.
so I've gotten myself into a bit of a hole here where I have too many tabs open because I opened all mine and then I opened all yours, and it's what is the technical term for that? A shit show at this point.
Yeah. I imagine
That's
your
like where
browser's
am I?
sweating right now. Yeah.
Yeah, where am I going? Is Laura still here? Because I'll do hers if she's still here. Don't know if she is though.
Hmm. Hmm. The number of
Well,
viewers
I'll give her
hasn't
a
gone
minute.
down a whole lot.
That's because that's the cumulative total, Bradley. Come on now.
Oh, I thought it was real time. Okay.
Yeah, if you hover over it, it will tell you what the concurrent viewers are. The current viewers
Hmm.
are.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know. Love Substack. Great.
Yeah, I
Maybe
made that
that's
mistake.
so.
There was a I was on a live and that number was at like 70 and I was like, getting super nervous. It was like 70 people are watching me. And then I hovered over and it was really like six. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right, right. Well, that's good to know. You learn something new every day. Okay, but it looks like Laura is still here. So yeah, if you
Laura
want
is
to,
still here. Okay,
yeah.
cool. I'll do Laura's next then because I don't believe seen anyone else this poem yet. And this because Alicia was here earlier, but I haven't seen her in well over an hour. So this is ooh. And I'll put the link in the chat because I'm not one of those people.
Good stuff.
And Alicia's here too, so I'll do Alicia's next then.
Sounds good.
After well, obviously after Bradley does one because I don't have the stamina to do two in a row.
Yeah, we need a break in between. I get it. Yeah.
Uh okay. This is called A Grave Within the Grave Through the Looking Glass by Laura B. And she had a co-author Bear Sage on this one. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away in night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar or a surf tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from a pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? And this is inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's poem "A Dream Within a Dream," uh, according to the
It,
thing.
if I'm not mistaken, I think Laura was yeah, clarifying here and then in the chat. I think what you read, Stefan, was an actual it was quoting the entirety of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
If you scroll down,
cool.
the grave within a
That's how
grave, I
familiar I
believe
am with
is the
that
word.
poem. Is
Right.
is okay? Well, that's the poem. That's the poem that it was inspired by.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, if you scroll down, you can find the actual poem.
Okay, and this is the actual poem that Laura that Laura wrote, called "A Grave Within a Grave." Take this breath upon my lips, and in parting from life's eclipse, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my hours have been a grave. Yet if life has slipped away in a night or in a day, in a pulse or in none, slipping through my fingers like dust I cannot hold, is it therefore the less gone? All that remains of me is but a grave within a grave. I stand amidst the hush of a body sinking crushed, and I feel within my chest the pulse I cannot still. How faint yet it recoils, twisting, writhing, pressing, through ribs that burn and ache, through lungs that tighten, tremble, through throat and stomach spine. Will it rise? O God, can I not bind this fever, this insistent breath, I'm sorry. O God, can I not save one moment from the pitiless fate? All that remains of me is but a grave within a grave.
Mm.
I didn't know the poem. I had never heard of this poem by him.
Yeah, I was gonna say the line from Poe's poem, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." That was actually a quote that inspired one of my earliest stories way back in the day. So I definitely recognize that one. But it was nice to hear the full Edgar Allan Poe poem here, and then obviously the one that Laura wrote. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts as far as like the parallels and obviously what you thought of Laura's poem?
There are maybe I don't know. There's a handful of lines that are exact copies, like four, I think. I remember 4 or 5. So I think the parallels. I think there's a when you're copying a poem, or when you're doing an analog to a famous poem, that you walk this kind of weird line where it has to be recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you don't want to like copy like 80% of it. So I think that Laura struck a nice balance where because the original poem doesn't have like a recognizable rhythm or meter to it,
Mm-hmm.
that casual. It's not like the Raven where there's a casual observer will instantly get what you're doing, even if
Mm-hmm.
you change every word. This one, I think they had to copy some lines. I think that was well done. Like the selection of lines they did.
Yeah, yeah. I was scrolling.
That's for the analogs.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
But,
say I was scrolling back and forth. I felt like Laura definitely um incorporated very similar structure to the lines here, like the actual like the word count and the rhythm of certain lines like feels very Poe-esque. I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't like compared it line for line, but I don't know that any of the lines in Laura's
I
poem are
believe,
exact.
in a night or in a day is an exact.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, in that
And
case, then yeah, like you said.
thus much let me avow. There weren't many, there were less than 5
Okay.
over
So
the
yeah,
course.
like an
So,
homage.
but yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Sorry, go ahead with
Um,
your analysis, yeah.
is this a about a wasted life? Well, I feel like this is about a wasted life because it's like the opening acknowledgement, the opening, it's not really an acknowledgement, right? With the line where it says, where is it? "You are not wrong who deem that my hours have been a grave." The narrator is accepting the judgment of others or of the internal inner critic that their existence was kind of pointless.
Mhm.
So it's like, I don't know about you, but my all of my biggest regrets are things I didn't do.
Mhm.
And I feel like this is, I don't know, that's what I that was the thing that stuck out to me for one of the things that stuck out to me quite a bit. And
Mhm.
then towards later on it says a night or in a day, in a pulse or in none. It seems to devalue um the measurement of time.
Mhm.
Like whether or not, like the thought I would have is whether or not life is long or short is irrelevant, because once it's gone, and the
Mhm.
duration never mattered. So
Mhm.
the imagery of like dust I cannot hold emphasizes the futility of trying to grasp or control your own existence.
Yep.
And so you're like, it's like kind of like if you when you're going about something for a reward, and your focus is fully on the reward, and you this is too deep, or maybe I'm off base completely. And the journey, once you hit that reward, the journey kind of stops mattering, because
Mm.
you were just in
Mhm.
it for the reward. Like if you go on Substack and you write in Substack for just to get to 100 subscribers,
Mm.
um, does that do you does the journey getting to 100 subscribers mean anything to you? Your entire goal was about getting to 100 subscribers. Does it
Right,
matter how
right,
long it took you? I don't know.
right.
I would be curious if you think I'm a buffoon for my for my thoughts here.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I always really enjoy your analysis, and yeah, with this one here, I definitely agree. I also kind of latched onto that line about slipping through my fingers like dust I cannot hold. Yeah, it like to me, I definitely caught that as like trying to hold on to something like time that can't be grasped, and it just slips through your fingers, right? And it's like if you're so obsessed, I love what you said too about like the subscriber example. It's like if you're so obsessed with like hitting like a certain goal or like milestone um that that you miss the moment and it becomes almost this hollow victory um and as a result of that I also think that it makes a lot of sense with the concept here of let me find it real quick but yeah, all that remains of me is but a grave within a grave. Like what you were saying kind of felt like that to me, where it's like you're almost dead inside if you lose sight of like why you're on this journey, right? It like it hollows
Yeah.
you out. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the line that goes like coils twisting, writhing, pressing, is that I don't know. I took that as him referring to his pulse, like to his very life giving, the very things that give him life are almost like writhing parasite.
Mm,
And
mhm,
he
mhm,
begs for control after that when he says, "Can I not bind this fever, this insistent breath?" So
mhm, mhm.
he's trying to control. He's going back to that, like when I initially that initial line I had, where he's going back to trying to control the passage of time, almost, or the passage of
Yeah,
his life, because his life's being wasted.
Right. I also pick up with that last part there. It almost feels to me like this manifestation of like fear or anxiety because it specifically says like the pulse I cannot still. Like that tells me that your heart is racing, right? And you're trying to like calm down, but it's just getting worse. And the twisting, writhing, pressing through ribs that burn and ache, through lungs that tighten, tremble. These are all symptoms of anxiety or panic attack, is how I'm reading that. And
Okay,
again, it
I
could be off
see.
base, but I mean, I see it. I see it. That's how I see it. Um, yeah,
You
no,
you're
it's
probably you're probably right because, Occam's razor, I think, says you're right. 'Cause I went
the simplest
I went the
solution is most
yeah,
likely the correct one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a surface level, that does read much more like anxiety than what I was talking about.
But I think there's elements to it. There's layers to it, and that's why poetry is awesome and why this poem's really great. One thing that I wanted to say too before we move on is I really felt like this one, especially that like how we got to read the Poe poem up top and then reading this one. I feel like Laura did a really good job of emulating Poe's style here. Like this feels like Poe could have written it in the best way possible. Like it's really
And
good.
Laura says, "You cannot stop time or the inevitable end."
Right, exactly, yeah, which, we definitely picked up
I
on flavors of that, yeah.
I am kind of, upset that I didn't stumble on Poe's poem and then stumbled on Laura's. I'd have rather had the other when I was reading them.
Right. That was great, though. I really love the idea of kind of putting the inspiration in the post here, along with the original poem. Shout out to also to the other author on this post, Bear Sage. There's a whole section at the bottom here about Bear Sage's reflection on the piece that I was looking at as well, and that's awesome. I just love the structure here. This whole post, really nice. Cool. All right. Well, since we are coming up on looks like an hour 45 here, Stefan, I was thinking maybe I know you had another one lined up from Alicia, I believe. So maybe I'll do one more, then we'll do Alicia's, then we'll do ours and wrap it up there.
Okay.
That work for you? Okay,
And then
sweet.
what do you wanna do with the leftovers? Just going are we just leaving them? Are we revisiting them? Like, what do you wanna do with the leftovers? I will have, I believe, only one leftover, but
Yeah, I definitely have several leftovers. I would like to carry them over to next month if we can. What I did this time around is I um I took all the submissions and then I arranged them using a random number generator to like put them in a random order. So it could just be something like that where we carry over all the other leftovers and just mix them
well,
in with the new submissions. What do you
yeah,
think?
I like doing, the one prioritizing the people who are in the chat, and then
Yeah,
if
that's a
there's
good
none that
element.
yeah. If
Yeah,
there's none that
I
are in
want to
the
do that
chat,
going
then do it.
forward.
Then do randoms.
Hmm, hmm.
Luckily for me, I didn't have to do randoms because I had people in the chat the entire night, but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but going forward, that's something we'll advertise for the next reading, is if you're here and you're in the chat, you'll priority. I like that. I think that's cool. And it's obviously I think I speak for both of us when I say that we really appreciate you all being here. So, yeah, that works for me. Um all of that being said, I'm going to do one more here. I'm not sure if she's still in the chat or not, but I saw Melanie Cole was here, and I'm a big fan of Melanie's work. So I've got one pulled up here that Melanie submitted. Regardless of whether or not she's here, this is the one I'll do, I think, last before you do Alicia's, Stefan. But yeah, so let me pull up real quick Melanie's Substack
oh,
so I can do a quick intro.
I did not talk about Laura
Okay,
beforehand.
go ahead and do that while I pull up Melanie's stuff, if you don't
I should probably have talked about Laura because Laura's fantastic and everybody should know about Laura.
mind.
Um, uh, um, I'll do it this way. Laura is a um I don't know. Oh man, I don't know what's public. She writes poetry and some essays too, and I've seen everything from politics to satire. Some of it's strange, most of it's kind of dark. I believe she shares a mental weirdness with me. But don't quote me on that. And if I'm not mistakenly, she's natively a Palestinian,
Hmm.
which gives her a unique perspective on things. I think.
I'd be really curious to check out some of Laura's poem, or not poems. We just saw a poem. One of the essays, if she did essays too, because I really like the analysis that was included
Did
in
I
this one.
did I did I overshare or get anything wrong, Laura? Because I was trying to do things from memory. You'd think I spent like 7 hours on lives with her. You think I would know by now.
I think that was good. Okay, Laura says not at all. We are good. You are safe.
We did it. I did it. I didn't screw up. I was really nervous I'd screw something up.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. We should definitely read more of Laura's stuff on these streams. That was really nice. I myself know I'm definitely gonna go take a look after the stream here because that's really nice. Okay. Um, so yeah, next up, again, I don't know if she's still here or not, but we're gonna do Melanie Cole's poem that she submitted. And funny enough, in my home office here, I have a personal collection of books and poetry collections from Substack writers. So funny enough, I did find Melanie Cole's poetry collection here. I have a copy of it. This one's called Maybe Blue. She has done several poetry collections, but this is the one I have. Um, yeah, so as far as the intro goes, Melanie Cole is a poet and writer from Tacoma, Washington. She's been published in Grit City Magazine, Dandelion Revolution Press, and Phil Lit Journal, among others. She has held residency at Suwester Arts, and she has publications upcoming. And like I said, she has done, including Maybe Blue, other poetry collections that you can find over on our Substack there for sale. So, let me put the link in the chat. I don't think I've done that yet. This particular piece is on a different website than Substack. It's called Opal.
One second if we could,
Yeah.
Bradley. I'm gonna send you a. Yeah, I'm gonna send you a DM. I mean, yeah, so that way you don't have to look. But this is adorable, and I think it's worthy of your attention.
Okay.
Um, I'll put that there. Just take a quick gander at this, and yeah, I think you'll agree.
Oh man, yeah. This is Nemesis art. Yes. Oh my god, it's so good. Oh man, that's got to be like top 10. One of the coolest things that's happened on
Yeah,
Substack.
I thought you'd want to see that, and I wanted you to see it on. Well, we still had the stream up because
Yeah.
you didn't.
No. Yeah.
It would amuse you. I will put a link to this wonderful note in the chat here in case anyone is curious what we're looking at.
Yeah.
As
I will.
my first fan, well, my first PG-13 fan art.
Okay, well, there's a story there, but um, no, this is great though. Thank you to Nimita if you're still in the chat. This is awesome. Otherwise, I hope she'll see our reaction on the recording when I post it. That's so good. Thank you, Stefan, for sharing that. That's wonderful. Okay, so the piece that I have pulled up here from Melanie Cole is titled "Hosanna." Dappled threads of light impale themselves upon the branches of a dead fig tree. Slowly, a serpent, scales of black, whispers through the inlets of a rural data center, trapping water vapors with the tip of its forked tongue. An orphan and a cancer patient live inside of my broken home, and I don't know what angel wings look or sound like yet. On Friday morning, I woke up to a plane flying low and purposefully, dusting insecticides like palm leaves, waving, celebratory at the Easter heat. Hosanna, we sing. Deliver us. Hosanna, Lord, deliver us from ourselves. Good stuff. Now, what's interesting here is I have heard the term Hosanna before. I don't know what it translates to. I believe it translates to something in English. But I know that term because when I was a kid, I was raised Catholic, and my parents, would get very mad if I didn't go to church with them every Sunday. So I went to church a lot growing up. And that, like the songs or the hymns, would often use that term. So again, I think it translates to something. So that was something that immediately spoke to me about this piece. It kind of like I immediately recognized that. Um, as far as kind of like the poem itself, uh, there's just a certain like style and beauty to Melanie's work that I've always really appreciated, which again is why I have a copy of her poetry collection. Because again, it's just like she makes a very strong first impression with her pieces. You've got great imagery here. There's just this beautiful flow to it. Like I don't know, just like reading it like it just rolls off the tongue as like you're reading it in like a really like nice way where it sounds really good as you're reading it with the word choice and such. Obviously, a lot of really interesting elements here. I really like the inlets of a rural data center trapping water with the tip of its forked tongue. Obviously, with the connection there to Catholicism or Christianity. I have to assume the serpent here represents Satan, of course, like in the Bible. Um, orphan and cancer patient live inside of my broken home, and I don't know what angel wings look or sound like yet. That one really hit home for me. I feel like that line it implies like impending death, right? And this idea of not knowing what angel wings look or sound like is because the angels haven't come to collect these souls yet. That's what I got from that, and that's again very powerful. Yeah, really interesting. Uh, this feels like something where there's like I could probably dig a lot deeper. But those are some of my surface level thoughts. So, what were your thoughts on this one, Stefan?
Oh, well, you have a thing for endings, and I like biblical references in poems, apparently.
Yeah, so there we go.
So you had mentioned Hosanna.
Yeah.
Um, I think that is an English translation of a Hebrew phrase from the Bible. That means like save us, we pray, O Lord, or something.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So it's funny because there's a you had mentioned the serpent,
Yeah.
and there's also a dead fig tree,
Right. Yep.
which is interesting. And to me, there's this like and you kind of mentioned that this intertwining between nature and industry.
Mhm.
And I think that is interesting because throughout the Bible, fig trees are frequently used as symbols of spiritual health or judgment.
Mhm.
And so the use of the dead fig tree to represent the decay or the rot of or the ruination of nature is an interesting analog to me.
Mhm.
Um in the middle stanza, the low flying crop dusting plane
Mhm.
was interesting to me because uh it seemed to me it's a reference to Palm Sunday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see that.
So I thought there was just a lot of I thought this was a very and you had mentioned the one to the serpents. I'm not going to rehash your well spoken serpent analog. I thought it was an interesting thing,
Mhm.
an interesting analog there. There's another one with like the Hosanna we sing, deliver us. Um,
Yep.
is uh um interest is has more of it, but it all comes back to I think it's this rot of this decay of nature by intertwining industry.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's some search for divine assistance to save nature, but that could just be that's what I took from
Yeah.
the Hosanna we sing. So,
Right.
but
Yeah, no, I really like the way you put that because yeah, it does feel like the poem is basically saying like this whole situation, these different things, they can only at this point be saved by divine intervention, right? And so it's kind of like,
mhm.
calling out for that. When you put it that way, I really see that in here. And again, yeah, the way that the biblical elements are woven in here, they feel very organic. Like they fit really nicely within the larger poem, which is good. Yeah. Um, good stuff. Really great work from Melanie there. Cool. Alrighty. Well, um, I believe you have another one lined up from Alicia, if I'm not
I do. I
mistaken.
have one from the wonderful Alicia, which I don't know if you're familiar with Alicia, but Alicia is fantastic. She might have the second or third best prose I've seen on Substack.
Damn. Okay, that's a strong recommendation. Recommendation. I like it.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely adore Alicia's work. I don't even know if she's still in the chat, but if she, none of that would be new to her if she heard me say that. So, Matt is echoing my sentiment. That Alicia is phenomenal.
Good stuff. Yeah, we have seriously done such great poetry tonight. I can't wait to hear this one. Looks like Alicia is here.
That's the link to that.
Okay. Oh yeah, everybody in the chat's fans of Alicia. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, big Alicia fan club is here today.
Yeah. No, you love to see it though. That's fantastic.
Oh, poop.
All right. Well, suffice to say, I am very excited for this one now.
The, 1 second. We can close that. Yes, good, cool. I forgot to restack the other one, so I had to make sure you could find it. Okay, so this is Alicia's poem. It is titled Oversoul.
Okay.
The mask is not my face. It has never been my face. It is not the face I wear now. It is not any of the others either. The black woman, the white man, not when I wore skin and not when I wore fur, not even when I wore a shiny carapace. I do not belong to shape or form, nor to the tangled web of mind. I am not the sum of my borrowed parts. I am not the ache of my lonely heart. I am all that defies explanation, the hollow glare of absolute nothingness. I'm everything there ever was, is now, or will be, the electromagnetic pulse of the swirling dust, rotating so far from here it does not exist. I am the particles that bind. I am night. I am sky. I am space. I am sound. I am teeth. I am claws. I am feathers. I am fins. We are time stretching and looping. We are one, and I love you forever.
Wow. Okay. Damn. That was I mean, yeah, you all sold it well. That was wonderful. That was really, really good. Holy crap. All right. Let it be known right now, as of this moment, I am subscribing to Alicia. While I've got this open. Good stuff. Yeah, I want more poetry like that. Amazing. So yeah, as a fan of Alicia's work, Stefan, what'd you think of this one?
Oh, um, the things that there's a couple things that stood out to me. The opening lines, separate observer from the roles they play, which
Mhm.
is, I think, really from a psychological point of view, that's really interesting because our brains will often designate roles to those who we are socially with,
Right.
and and almost treat each other like they were not human. But
Mhm.
either way, where it specifically says, "I do not belong to shape or form, nor to the tangled web of mine." Uh, it seems to be almost referring to removing itself from like the physical vessel and referring to something older.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then the absolute nothingness of the hollow glare of absolute nothingness, that echoes something. It's called sunyata.
Mhm.
It's the concept of the void,
Mm.
which I found interesting because it looks at like the how do I want to put this? I'm trying to collect my thoughts because I don't want to just ramble for 10 minutes. It feels to me like the narrator is both a predator in the physical sense and a predator in a cosmic consuming void sense.
Okay.
Like it is moving from, like it is shifting from where the state of the universe itself means that there is both nothing and everything or something like that. I'm
Hmm.
trying to figure out a way to word my thought. Maybe you can tell me why I'm what I mean at the end. And then at the end, we are time stretching and looping. We are one. The individual consciousness, the narrator realizes it was never truly separate from the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
just I could be have gone too deep in my thought, but
No.
I think there's a paradox of nothingness and everything. Is I think the central meaning of the poem.
Right. 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 That's really interesting. Yeah, I like the way you phrased that. Yeah, I think with this one here, I definitely agree with your interpretation, and I feel like mine is similar. Um, what's interesting about this one is I feel like it started at the beginning. The mask is not my face; has never been my face. It felt like very personal, like it was very zoomed in on like a specific person. And as I read those lines, I thought to myself, okay, we're going to explore like a person, and how they feel the need to pretend to be someone they're not. But then what I loved about this piece is that with every stanza, we jumped back in scope and zoomed out further. So we start with a person, and then, we're a couple of different people. And then, now all of a sudden, we're looks like, like an animal or an insect, and we're zooming out, and then, at a certain point about halfway through, it goes full cosmic in scope, electromagnetic pulse of swirling dust, rotating so far from here it does not exist. Um, you know, and then this idea, like, I am night, I am sky, I am space, so on and so forth. At this point now, I'm thinking, okay, we're in the mind of what would essentially be like a supreme being, right? Like an omniscient being or something that is like equivalent to God or a God, right? Like something that just has a full, complete picture of the entire universe and everything within it. And so as someone who really enjoys like cosmic type stuff, that really like I like halfway through, I was like, wow, okay, like just the ambition of this poem really caught me off guard in a really good way. Um, and then yeah, like you were saying, we are time stretching and looping. We are one, and I love you forever. I love that ending. Such a good ending. And I'll
No,
tell you
no,
why.
no surprise.
I'll tell you why though, because we are time stretching and looping. We are one. To me, that completes this loop of like, this thing or this being that is delivering the poem to us is in fact just completely outside of time or part of time, or perhaps they are time itself, right? Like we are one. It's a reminder that everything is connected, and I love that, right? And then this final part, and I love you forever, again, it's like if this is a supreme being or a god, at the end here, it's saying, like I've seen through all the possible eyes of everything in the universe, and I love all of you. And that right there, like, come on, that's beautiful. It's so profound. Like that's the takeaway that I got. And yeah, I mean, wow, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, everybody in the chat who was recommending Alicia's work, you were spot on. Really, really good. This is this has got to be one of my favorite poems I've seen since we started doing these live streams. Like I loved this. Really, really good.
Oh,
I loved everything about this. I wouldn't change a thing.
excellent. Good, great to hear. There's no better reaction we could have hoped for.
Incredible. Really, really good work. Really good work. Yeah. All right. Well, we are at the final part here. So, Stefan, I think you said, did you already send me a link to one of your poems for me to read? Are we going to do?
I did not, but I will send that to you now.
Yeah.
I was just getting that, realizing I had not done it yet. And I was like,
Okay. Well, I haven't sent you mine either, so I'm going to do that real quick. But we can go in whatever
I
order.
sent you mine.
Okay. Thank you.
We do these once a month.
Yes.
And we both normally announce it and start taking submissions a week out, a
Mm-hmm.
week or two out.
Yep. Yep.
So
Once a month.
there should be warnings. If you want, Laura, I can tag you when we take submissions next time, and when we have a
Yeah.
date. Which
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to heck up Bradley because he ignores me if I don't.
Okay. To be fair, I just lose track of time because I'm so damn busy, but I love doing these. And yeah, no, I'm definitely obviously ready for another one in September here. We typically have done them in the past, I think, around the middle of the month. Obviously, this month we're doing it
Yeah.
near the end. But I'm thinking, obviously, I'm like, this may change, but I think mid September should be fine for me. I can't think of anything going on. So
Yeah, I would
yeah.
be aiming for Wednesday the 16th or Wednesday the 23rd, one of the 2.
Okay, one of those should work totally fine for me. So yeah, let's plan on that being the tentative date. But yeah, mid September. Yeah, this is our third one, right, Stefan, that we've done?
I think so, 3rd or 4th, yeah. I think it's the
Yeah,
3rd.
yeah. Might be the
And
fourth,
and
but I
and and we have more fun each time, like, we get weirder and weirder as we go. The first one was kinda stiff and formal, now it's getting weirder and weirder.
I feel like it's become a little bit more relaxed because I don't have a whole lot of experience doing lives, period. So you've really helped me kind of, you know, step out of my comfort zone a little bit and get comfortable with doing lives like this. Because I do a lot of like narration and podcasting, but that's all very tailored and recorded, and I can edit it, and so being live is a whole different thing, right? Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk
I may do too many of these.
about. I feel
I
like,
think of the last 11 days, I think I've done 12.
yeah. No, I always see notifications about you going live. I need to join more of them, but it's like it always happens in something else, but I see it on my phone, like Stefan being live. So,
Yeah,
all
it's
right.
terrible. It's an addiction.
But I mean, it's nice. Yeah.
Since I just read Alicia's, I have a
Yeah.
feeling that we should continue alternating 'cause
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I will do your poem first. So at the end here, we'll do one of Stefan's followed by one of mine, and then we'll call it a night. But so this piece here, this is entitled "The Bell Phony," um, and it looks like you got voiceover done here by the begrudging dispatch, which is cool.
oh, she did a fantastic job too.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to that separately. Let me drop the link. I don't think we dropped the link yet. Let me drop the link in the chat. But yeah, be sure to check out that narration on your own time here. I'll do my best to do it justice, though. All right. So this is The Bell Phony by Stefan Pasek. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of rock and roll lore, while I danced, softly swaying, there arose a sudden tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my studio door. "'Tis some engineer," I muttered, "come to tell me something more. Probably 'bout the mix, nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the quiet left no token, and the only sound there spoken was a phantom rhythmic throb at my core, whispered softly, faintly echoed from beyond the studio door. Merely this and nothing more? Wait, no, it whispered, more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see what waits beyond it, and this mystery to explore. Let my heart be still a moment while this mystery I explore. 'Tis a cowbell, nothing more." Once here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a guest immortal from a wild decade of yore. Not a single bow he made me, not a second stopped or stayed he. With a fevered look he seized it, struck a rhythm on my floor, struck a heavy metal cowbell right upon my studio floor. "Only cure," he cried, "is more." And the cowbell, never silent, keeps on clanging loud and violent on the plastic bust of Elvis just above my studio door. And its beats have all the seeming of a groove that won't stop dreaming, while the lamplight over it streaming throws its shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. God, that was awesome. That was sweet, dude. I like that one.
That was
That was good. Another another really, really accurate portrayal of Poe's style. Again, like I know this is like there's like kind of a there's almost like a comedic kind of fun element to it. But man, you really nailed that rhythm and style of Poe. Like this felt really, really good from that regard. and it was fun as hell to read. Like I was really getting into it. Yeah, like it was just really really good. I liked it a lot. That was fun. That was very very fun. I'm curious to hear how Begrudging Dispatch, narrated it, but that was great. That was great. Really
I
really
was
good.
surprised you kept a straight face, but you did lose it towards at the bust of Elvis, but
The bust of Elvis, man. I was just like, I pictured that like instead of the Raven, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna laugh.
yeah.
Hallie Jules says more cowbell. Oh man, that was good, man. You always do great work. I love it. It's really, really good.
Well,
Mm. I noticed you said you want to try and hit 1,500 subscribers by September 1st. How close are you?
I'm not gonna make it. I'm at like
Ah.
1390.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to get to. Damn, I wanted you to get it because I was gonna say September 1st is my birthday. So I was gonna say for my birthday, subscribe to Stefan. That's my birthday wish.
I'll get to 14, but yeah, I won't get to 15.
For sure.
Summer's been a rough. It's been a rough summer.
Honestly,
Chatting wise.
I've noticed a dip. Yeah, obviously everybody's got stuff going on, but like in terms of Substack, I feel like things have been pretty slow. Like just traffic, engagement, like it's there and things are moving, but like it just feels a lot slower. I don't know if anybody else has felt that. Hey,
Yeah,
shout out to Laura B with the birthday on September 2nd. Love it.
like the Edgar Allan Poe poems like that I did in April got 130 likes, and this one's been out for 3 days and it's 50.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a massive decrease in engagement, and as far as I can
yeah.
tell.
Yeah, if anything, I'm always like a hopeless optimist, but I think I've only been on Substack like a year and a half, like it'll be 2 years in January. So
Well, this is my first summer, so
I
I
was gonna say
don't know.
I feel like last summer there was a bit of a lull, and I feel like the most activity is like in the fall and maybe like January, February. If anybody in the chat wants to confirm or contract. But yeah, I think that's usually the curve as far as activity goes. But who knows? In the meantime, we just keep making great. We do stuff like this. So
Yeah, we just do strange parodies of famous poems and Saturday Night Live skits.
I love a good parody. So that was fun. You got me. That was fun. Um. All right. Cool. Well, we got one more for you all here. Thank you
One
again to everyone
more
who stuck around.
by some guy named Bradley Ramsey.
Some weirdo who's always submitting to these lives, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll do it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and yeah, one of the weird guys.
yeah.
And it's titled Quantum Immortality. Give me a 1 second here to get the link.
While you're grabbing the link, for people that are still watching here, quantum immortality. I put a link, I think, to the Wikipedia page in the post here, but that is an actual sort of like conceptual theory, and the idea is that we live in like a multiverse of like parallel realities where things just went differently, like different timelines and whatnot. So quantum immortality is the concept that we never actually die, and instead of dying, our consciousness jumps to another timeline where we're still alive. And so that was the concept that inspired this piece, just to give you a little background there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That means Bradley, I'll see you on a different time in a different dimension.
In some other dimension, we're streaming live and we're going like a 24-hour like marathon poetry stream.
I feel like if there really is that many dimensions, then there's a dimension where we're doing erotica readings.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you assume
Yeah,
that it's infinite, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
That's got to be a wild
That's
one. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be an audience in that one. Yeah, I think the way he penetrated her reminded me of Abraham 22 in the Bible.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. That's
It would be a
awesome.
wild experience for everybody involved.
Yep. All
I'm
right.
sorry to anyone in the
Well,
chat who is still listening, but that's probably
somebody definitely
inappropriate.
dropped their phone just now. Um,
Probably. Okay. This is Quantum Immortality by Bradley Ramsey. In spite yeah, and he already went through the theoretical concept it's inspired by. Mine is a story without end, each death a new beginning, falling once more into the river of time, punishment from some long forgotten crime, a war of attrition, a battle unending, different faces, different places. Turn the page, time marches forward. Sometimes love, sometimes pain, everything to lose and nothing to gain. I seek meaning in a meaningless loop, few memories to call my own. I go where the cosmic wind has blown. Your face is one of the few. I don't recall your name, but every time I open my eyes, I seek your truth among the lies. You are my reason to survive again and again, to wake up in a new way and fight just to survive the day. My one constant, my true north across time, in vast seas of infinity, you are my divinity. Tell me, am I destined to never know rest, to experience quantum immortality, our soul's one true commonality? Because my experience is not unique, none I meet will know death. Their stories will start anew. I hope the memories fade like morning dew. No one should be forced to remember a journey without end, because without an ending to call our own, our stories remain unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make an admission here that I almost read that line. I hope the memories fade like morning dew as Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And I caught myself. So I just wanted to say I'm proud of myself for that.
That's good. Yeah. No, that's good. That was a good catch. It was a good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that sneaking in there. No, thanks for reading that. And if I may, one final plug here. The poem there does have some narration that I recorded, and the reason why I wanted to call it out is because I've been experimenting with like audio stuff with especially with poems. So like with this one here, there's some music behind the narration. Obviously, I always do that, but with this piece in particular, I wanted to create as part of the audio. I wanted to create this idea that you're hearing past memories from this person's other timelines, right? So when you get to the second stanza that starts with a war of attrition, when you're listening to the narration, you can hear like sounds of a battle happening while I'm reading, and I kind of layered in some stuff like that. So again, just something cool I wanted to call out because I'm trying to experiment with stuff like that, and I was pretty proud of how it turned out here. So in any case, appreciate you
Okay.
reading.
So I will. I have biblical connections to give you.
Okay, let's hear
I'm kidding. I don't actually have anything biblical here, but I want to talk about the ending because Bradley loves a good ending.
Oh, you know it.
Um, Specifically, the ending because without an ending to call our own, our stories remain unknown. Um, this is the tragedy of immortality.
Yes.
This is why immortality is so heartbreaking, is because without an end, the narrative kind of loses its ability to be understood or cherished.
Yep.
And so I thought that was, I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
I
cool.
really appreciate you saying that because that's definitely something that I feel like I've tried to explore a bit in my work. Um, it was, yeah, this idea, the tragedy of immortality, like you said, this idea that the our the fact that we as mortals have an ending gives our life meaning and purpose, right? Knowing that it will end. If it never ends, then you're just dragging out that story, right? And so that's kind of my way of thinking about like the tragedy of immortality, as you said. And so I really
Mhm.
appreciate you calling that out. I like that. I want to answer Laura's question here. She asks, Bradley, what do you use to add the music? I have been unsuccessful in adding music to my narrations, and yours is so good. Well, thank you. Yes. Stefan is right on the money there. Audacity is what I use. One thing I'll say is that when you download Audacity, I don't think you can just automatically import like MP3s or music. You have to get like it's a free add-on, but it's like a codec or something that I had to get in order for the software to allow me to import files like that. So just wanted to say, yeah, if you run into that issue, let me know. You can always DM me if you want, and I'll figure out exactly where that download is. But it was like an extra step I had to take in order to import audio. But once I had that set up in Audacity, that's how I've done it. And typically what I do is I will plug in directly to my mic's sort of control panel here with some headphones, and I listen back to it, and then I adjust the volume of the music and other sound effects so that it's properly layered, right? So if the narration itself is like at zero, where it's like not plus or minus, then the music, let's say, will be like minus 12, 15, 20 decibels, however much, so that it creates this layering where it's like it's quieter and it's behind the narration. And I find that the best way to do that is with some headphones on so you can really hear the layers. But yeah, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to figure out, your style with it. As far as where I get the music itself from, I just use Pixabay, Pixabay. They're like a image, music, sound effect repository. It's all like royalty free type stuff. So I go on there to get it. Pretty much all the music I use comes from there. So hopefully that helps. But if you have any questions, you run into any issues, please always feel free to tag me, DM me. I'm happy to answer any questions. So, and also thank you, Nimita, for the mention of the audio from Prison of Ink. That also turned out really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've always really enjoyed narrating my stuff, but I would say within the last like 6 to 8 months, I've really like made it a focus to experiment, right? Like bring in more immersive elements, bring in more music, sound effects, anything that creates an even deeper experience for the listener. So yeah, and I'm really proud of all this stuff that I've done because this is all just self-taught. I don't know, I'm not an audio engineer, so it's like I'm just learning as I go kind of thing. But anyway. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I know we've been on here almost 2.5 hours, but yeah, just wanted to say thank you to everybody. Not only for submitting your poems here. Tomorrow I will post the recording of this along with links to everything that we read on the stream here. We'll be back next month, most likely around middle of September. Keep an eye out on notes as well as the subscriber chat. I use my subscriber chat to make the announcements about these, where you can submit stuff ahead of time. Yeah, I think that's all that we need for housekeeping here. But yeah, stay tuned for the recording tomorrow. Um,
And make sure in notes you peer pressure Bradley to come sing karaoke with me.
right. That's another thing that I said I would do. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I got to do that at some point. If Hallie Jules is still in here, I know she'll appreciate this. When I get on to do the karaoke, I should just go full silly mode with it and use voices from my podcast. Like I'll sing a song as Arnold, in my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression or something. I'll do something ridiculous because I feel like I got to stay on brand. So, right.
I can't think of anything else we missed though.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Bradley. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who has come.
Hallie wants to
Haley,
do
if you
karaoke, by the way.
we we'll arrange that. That is something we can arrange. But yeah, thank you for everybody for coming. Thank you for Bradley for having me. It will be a few weeks. We'll do it again.
Yep. Allie says do a Taylor Swift song in Arnold voice. I would love to do that. That'd be hilarious.
I anyone who has the courage to get up in front of a Substack audience and sing has my respect. So.
I've done live karaoke before, several times over the years, and it's always gone relatively well. So,
Live karaoke is just if song choice means everything, because if you get the whole bar singing, no one can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just always do a song choice on Substack. Somebody's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's true. It's a different experience.
Yeah, it's a little different experience.
Oh, that's right. Hallie has done some lives where because Hallie, if I'm not mistaken, you play guitar as well as sing. I feel like I've seen you do that before, which is really cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, Hallie should definitely be invited to karaoke. That would be fun.
Yeah, when Bradley gets me a date, Hallie, I'll forward you the date.
We'll loop you in.
Have a little party. Yeah, we'll loop you in.
Gotta have somebody with some actual singing talent to balance out whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah, there's gonna be a dearth of singing talent if you're not there.
All right, cool. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again. Super fun. Love doing these. Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, and Hallie is in on the karaoke, so that's a win as well. All right,
Excellent.
cool. Well,
All right.
we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for everybody who stuck around here. Thank you everybody watching the recording tomorrow. Really appreciate it. Love being here. Love your poetry. Love doing this. So thanks again.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you, everybody.